Hello and welcome to the 7th week of Season 20, Season of Defiance, starting on April 11th, 2023. So for week 7, let's have a look at our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a strong curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in Ria Silvia, and has the Dark Monastery mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Taken Enemies and the Plague Inamina. The Ascendant challenge this week will be Ouroboros, which can be located over in the Aphelions Rest Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is in the Deep. The Trove Guardian is located in the Hellmouth. The Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Zurtel in Sorrow's Harbour. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Crota, Despair, Omnigul, Anguish, and the Fanatic, Insanity. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Praxis the Technocrat will be the Empire Hunt, Cadmus Ridge will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Safeguard. For the 30th anniversary expansion, we have the loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on week 3's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set being available. The weapons available this week are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Auto Rifle Chroma Rush, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Grenade Launcher Ignition Code, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Grid Skipper, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Farewell, the Solar Pinpoint Slug Frame Shotgun Chandra's Tail, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Shattered Cipher, the Arc Precision Frame Fusion Rifle Main Ingredient, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Long Shadow, the Arc Omelan Adaptive Frame Sidearm Last Dance, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Shotgun Toil and Trouble, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun Wishbringer, and the Void Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle Last Perdition. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Ritual, where the modifier is Fire Pit, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Also this week you will have Altars of Reflection Choice, and Altars of Reflection Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas Armor, and a weapon pattern as its reward. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is Downfall, with extra shields, locked loadouts, and extra champions, Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Solar Threat, Scorched Earth, Kinetic Overcharge, Void and Solar Surges with an overcharge weapon. The Partition mission will be Hard Reset, which has Contest Mode, Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Arc Threat, Martyr, Empath, Elemental and Strand Surges, and Void Shields. And the Vex incursion this week will be Liming Harbour. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon Exotic mission on the EDZ. Raids and Dungeons. The new Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 3rd encounter, Macrocosm, called Cosmic Equilibrium. And as this is a new raid challenge, details on how to complete this challenge will become available once it has been completed. The King's Fall challenge this week is the 5th encounter, Oryx, called Hands Off. Players must not kill the same Ogre or Light Eater Knight throughout the encounter. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Rorke, called Looping Catalyst. This is where Guardians must not lose the Leeching Force before the damage phase. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Confluxes, called Wait For It, where every Yellow Bar Wyvern must be killed as they sacrifice themselves to the Confluxes. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the 2nd encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies, where you must not send any Atrax 1 replicant debuffs into the airlock/space. And the Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100, where you must fully fill each conflux with 30 motes within 10 seconds of initially banking the first set of motes. Your Pinnacle raid will be the last wish on the Dreaming City, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the 1st encounter, Kali, called Summoning Ritual. Players must activate and cleanse all 9 plates, then kill all 9 knights and ogres before damaging Kali. The 2nd encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. The 3rd encounter, Morgoth, called Forever Fight. Players must not kill the smaller ogres during the encounter. The 4th encounter, Fault, called Keep Out. Guardians must ensure that no Might of Riven Knights make it to the centre chamber during the Vault fight. And the 5th encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory, where Guardians must not shoot the same Riven Eye twice. Also, with the Last Wish being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic heavy fusion rifle, 1000 Voices. And the Pinnacle dungeon for this week will be the Grasp of Avarice over on the Cosmodrome. Next up, challenges. So for week 7 we have Eternal Queensguard. Complete a flawless run in any Defiant Battlegrounds playlist location for Challenge XP+. Defiant Focus. Decode or focus 20 Defiant engrams at the war table during Season of Defiance for Challenge XP+. Favoured Liberator. Generate 60 favours in seasonal activities. All members of your current fire team contribute to overall progress for Challenge XP+. Fleeting Glory. Complete Crucible matches in the competitive playlist. Earn bonus progress for wins for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. High Value Hunter. Defeat powerful combatants in Gambit. Earn bonus progress for defeating high value targets for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. And a Grandmaster. Complete any Nightfall strike on Grandmaster difficulty for Challenge XP++ and Bright Dust. And speaking of Bright Dust, we have our 7th Eververse of the season for the week of April 11th, 2023. Available this week for Bright Dust, we have the Spray and Pray exotic emote for 3250 Bright Dust, the Archon Prime exotic weapon ornament for the exotic pulse rifle Outbreak Perfected for 1250 Bright Dust, the Daito capsule entrance legendary transmat effect for 450 Bright Dust, the Springtide Feint legendary shader for 300 Bright Dust, the Welded Brass legendary shader for 300 Bright Dust, the Simon Says exotic emote for 3250 Bright Dust, the Come At Me rare emote for 400 Bright Dust, the Clean Line Shell exotic ghost shell for 2850 Bright Dust, the Doubt weapon ornament for the Trust hand cannon for 700 Bright Dust, the Cedar exotic weapon ornament for the Hunter exotic gauntlets Young Kara's Spine, the Augmented Allspice exotic weapon ornament for the Titan exotic gauntlets Syntheseps, and the Osiris Draconum exotic ornament for the Warlock exotic gauntlets Sunbracers, each for 1200 Bright Dust. The Omnipotania exotic weapon ornament for the exotic heavy shotgun tractor cannon for 1250 Bright Dust. And finally the Spicy Rama projection legendary ghost projection for 1500 Bright Dust.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily Lost Sector will show you a flag outside which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armour you will find inside. But if you are new to the game or you're using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the Lost Sector normally to have it show up on your map as a Legend/Master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you will only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, April 11th will be Bunker E15 on Europa for exotic boots, Void Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Grenade Launcher with Barrier and Overload Champions. Wednesday, April 12th will be the Confluxes on Nessus for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Trace Rifles with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Thursday, April 13th will be the Thrillerdrome on Neptune for exotic chests, Void Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void and Arc Elemental Shields, Overcharged Grenade Launchers with Barrier and Overload Champions. Friday, April 14th will be the Hydroponics Delta on Neptune for exotic helmets, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with no Elemental Shields, Overcharged Rocket Launcher with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Saturday, April 15th will be the Gilded Precipice on Neomuna for exotic boots, Arc Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void and Solar Elemental Shields, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Sunday, April 16th will be the Excavation Type 12 on the EDZ for exotic gauntlets, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Arc Elemental Shields, Overcharged Swords with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. And finally, back round to Monday, April 17th will be the Skydock 4 on the EDZ for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void Elemental Shields, Overcharged Shotgun with Barrier and Unstoppable Champions.
Lead the way.
The Grandmaster Nightfalls return this week, starting on April 11th, which means if you already have your Conquest Seal, you will be able to select whichever Grandmaster Nightfall you want in any order to gild your title. And with that, our 7th featured Nightfall will see us face off against Ignovan in the Proving Grounds over on Nessus, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You will be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and ascendant shards. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and low Nightfalls will have 4 barrier and 5 unstoppable, with 5 solar, 7 void, and 6 arc shields. Masters will have 9 barrier and 10 unstoppable, with 5 solar, 6 void, and 6 arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, champion's foe, you will face barrier and unstoppable champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from your seasonal artifact. Solar elemental threat, 25% increase to solar incoming damage. Overcharge weapons. Weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. An elemental surge, 25% bonus to outgoing elemental damage. Strand surge, 25 bonus to outgoing strand damage. Overcharge weapon, 25% bonus damage to a specific weapon. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Scorched Earth, enemies throw significantly more grenades. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champion's Mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Famine, all ammunition drops are significantly reduced. And Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized and Famine. Joining progress is disabled. Extinguish, if your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Chafe, radar is disabled. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters, as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Anti-Barrier Pulse and Anti-Barrier Sidearm, Unstoppable Scout Rifle, and Medieval Champion, where glaives fire projectiles that stun unstoppable champions, swords stun overload champions on consecutive hits. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For anti-barrier, the kinetic bow Wishender, the kinetic linear fusion rifle Arbalest, the new kinetic pulse rifle Revision 0, the solar energy hand cannon Eriana's Vow, the solar heavy sword the Lament, and the Titan exotic gauntlet Second Chance, which gain a second charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. For unstoppable, the kinetic fusion rifle Bastion, the kinetic hand cannon Malfeasance, the solar energy sidearm Devil's Ruin, the void heavy bow Leviathan's Breath, and the hunter gauntlets Athras' Embrace, which have a chance to stun unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the kinetic scout rifle Hungdura SR4. Hungdura is a position frame scout rifle with a base impact of 62, base range of 49, and stability of 55. It can roll with Firefly, Frenzy, and Kinetic Tremors, with Surplus, Rapid Hit, and Subsistence. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen, and improve your recovery for a short duration. Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. And Omolon Fluid Dynamics, where the weapon has increased reload speed and stability for the top half of the magazine. Next up, Lord Shaxx brings Team Scorched to the featured Crucible playlist for the 7th week of the season. Team Scorched is a 6v6 PvP mode where all players wield a Scorch Cannon. Equipped weapons and abilities cannot be used in this game mode. Movement abilities e.g. lift, jump and glide, sprinting and emotes can be used. Players are forced to use a Scorch Cannon that cannot be dropped. These Scorch Cannons have 100 ammo, which is replenished on respawn. Matches have a 7-minute timer, players have a 3-second respawn timer, kills give plus 1 point each, the first team to reach 60 points wins. If the timer runs out before the team reaches 50 points, the team with the largest score wins. The player's current and longest kill streaks are shown at the top of the screen below the score.
Delightful!
And Saint 14 will be back on Friday at reset to bring you another weekend of fun in the Trials of Osiris. As a reminder, Trials of Osiris is a 3v3 PvP high stakes variant of elimination. Only available from Friday reset until Tuesday weekly reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials will grant exclusive weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, Masterwork materials, and even Adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you that match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
Before we go, if you have enjoyed this content and found it most informative, then please hit that subscribe button and check out our show over at twotitansandahunter.com. We will be greatly appreciative. But before you go, we just want to let you know that there will be double rewards returning to the Nightfalls this week. So, if you want more of the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and ascendant shards, then this will be a good week to get farming and stock up for Season of the Deep. And that's it for the 7th week of Season of Defiance. Go be defiant, Guardians. Allons-y!
Guardian down.